I never thought the sound of an engine could feel like betrayal, but that night it did. I stood by my bedroom window, staring into the darkness, when I heard my car roar to life in the driveway. Confusion twisted in my chest. No one else had the keys, at least, no one who should have. My stepdad's shadow crossed under the streetlight, and my heart stopped. He was behind the wheel of my car, the one I had worked endless shifts to afford, the one that carried all my dreams of freedom. I pressed my face against the glass, disbelief turning into dread as he backed out, headlights flashing like a cruel spotlight on the truth. He had stolen it. At first, I thought it was some mistake, maybe an emergency. But the way he drove off, fast, almost smug, told me otherwise. My stomach churned, and my hands shook. Something wasn't right. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through every thought in my head. Should I call my mom? The police? Should I confront him when he came back? But something inside whispered to wait, to watch. Because deep down, I knew this wasn't just about a car. This was the crack in the wall that would soon reveal everything he had been hiding. And as the red glow of my taillights disappeared into the night, I realized one thing. I was about to uncover the darkest secret my stepdad had buried. Before everything fell apart, I thought my life was finally piecing itself together. My mom remarried when I was 16, and that's when my stepdad came into the picture. At first, he seemed like a blessing, helpful around the house, charming in front of neighbors, and always quick with a smile. My mom adored him, and for her sake, I tried to. But I noticed things. The way he'd always comment on how expensive life was, how tight money seemed to be, yet he always had a new watch or gadget. The way he pushed himself into decisions that weren't his, like what school I should go to, or how I should spend my weekends. Little by little, he went from being a stepdad to being an intruder in my life. The only thing that truly belonged to me was my car. I bought it after working every weekend at the local cafe, every holiday when other kids went out with friends. That car wasn't just metal and wheels, it was my independence, my proof that I could build something for myself without his help. I remember the first day I drove it home, the way the engine hummed under my control, the way my mom's eyes lit up with pride. But his eyes were different. Cold, calculating, almost annoyed that I had done it without him. Looking back now, I realize that moment was the start of his resentment, the first seed of the storm he was about to unleash. The morning after he took my car, I sat on the edge of my bed staring at the empty driveway. The spot where my car usually rested looked hollow, like someone had carved a piece out of me. My chest felt tight, my eyes burned, and I kept whispering to myself, "It's just a car, you'll get it back." But deep down, I knew it was more than that. When my mom walked into my room with her coffee, she didn't even notice my trembling hands. She smiled like nothing had happened, like the world hadn't shifted overnight. I wanted to scream, to tell her what he had done, but something stopped me. I didn't want to break her heart. She had already been through so much, and she finally looked happy again. So instead, I swallowed my pain. I told her I was fine. I forced a smile, though my voice cracked. But inside, I was breaking. I had sacrificed birthdays, nights out, and simple joys just to save for that car. Every shift at the cafe, every dollar counted, every moment of exhaustion, it was all for my independence. And in a single night, he had stolen that from me. It wasn't just a car he took. He had taken my freedom, my effort, my pride. And the cruelest part? He acted like nothing happened, like I wouldn't notice, like I didn't matter. That morning, I promised myself I would find out the truth. No matter how much it hurt, Days turned into weeks, and still no sign of my car. Every time I asked my stepdad where it was, he brushed me off with excuses. It's at the shop. Or, don't worry, I'll handle it. His tone was sharp, almost mocking, as if I had no right to question him. My mom believed every word he said. She told me not to stress, that he was just taking care of things. But I could see through him. The problem wasn't just that my car was gone. It was where it had gone. One night, after he left the house, I decided to follow him. I borrowed my friend's bike and trailed him across town. My heart pounded with every turn, the cool air stinging my face as I pedaled faster to keep up. Finally, he pulled into a run-down lot on the far side of the city. My breath caught in my throat. There it was, my car, parked between a line of other vehicles, most of them looking out of place, with plates that didn't match. That's when the truth began to unravel. My stepdad wasn't just using my car, he was selling cars. The lot was a front, and he was knee-deep in something shady, something dangerous. I stood in the shadows, rage and fear flooding me all at once. It wasn't just about the car anymore. It was about the lies, the betrayal, and the ugly double life he was living right under our roof. And I knew I couldn't stay silent any longer. The night I discovered his secret, I didn't confront him, not yet. Instead, I went home, sat on my bed, and began planning. Rage boiled inside me, but I knew charging at him blindly would only get me dismissed as the dramatic stepdaughter. No, if I wanted justice, I needed proof, undeniable proof. For days, I watched him. Every time he slipped out of the house late at night, I trailed behind quietly, phone in hand, snapping pictures of the lot, the shady men exchanging envelopes, and even my own car with a fake plate. My hands trembled with every click of the camera, but I pushed through. When I had enough evidence, I made my move. I slipped into his office where he thought no one dared to go. In his locked drawer, I found stacks of paperwork, fake titles, stolen registrations, even a list of VIN numbers. It was worse than I imagined. He wasn't just selling cars. He was running a full-blown illegal operation. That night, instead of confronting him, I sent everything to the police. The next morning, when he strutted into the kitchen with his smug grin, I sat quietly at the table, pretending nothing was wrong. Minutes later, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. His face drained of color as officers stormed in. My mom dropped her coffee, screaming his name, but I just sat there, calm, watching him crumble. Because in that moment, I had taken back everything he stole from me. The day my stepdad was arrested felt like a storm breaking. For months, I had carried the weight of his lies, but now, the truth was out in the open. My mom stood frozen as the officers led him away, her eyes filled with tears of shock and betrayal. I wanted to comfort her, but part of me knew she needed to face this reality on her own. Later that night, when the house finally grew quiet, she came into my room. Her voice was broken as she whispered, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I held her hand, tears welling in my eyes, and said, "Because I wanted proof. I didn't want to hurt you unless I was certain." She pulled me into her arms, and for the first time in years, I felt like it was just us again, mother and daughter, stronger together. A week later, the police returned my car. When I slid back into the driver's seat, the leather felt different, like a symbol of everything I had fought for. I turned the key, and as the engine hummed, I smiled. This wasn't just my car. It was my victory, my freedom reclaimed. My mom and I started fresh. No more lies. No more shadows lurking in our home. We rebuilt, brick by brick, with honesty and trust. And every time I drive past that empty driveway where he once stood, I remind myself, sometimes revenge isn't about hurting back, it's about taking your life back.